Jeff, are you ready with anything?
No, I don't believe I have one at 8 o'clock of Miss Diane Hanson. I haven't seen her yet.
He's here.
Oh, could I go into a breakout room with her?
Yep, you can move around. Your co-host.
I'm not sure on my device. Oh, I can. What? I'm not Jadala Batar. Who am I?
I don't I didn't. You can pick any room. Those are just for the scheduled MIDC attorneys.
Well, can I just select a room?
Yeah, you can go in any room.
Why don't I go in room 11?
Yep, go ahead. Yeah.
Thank you. But I can't move the other individual.
Oh, you can't?
No, not on
All
an
right,
iPad.
I'll get her in there.
All right, but I'll use room 11.
Okay.
And if any, I only have 4 people. If any of them want to talk to me, that's the room I'll go to.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good morning.
Morning, Marianne.
Hi there.
Good
Good morning, ma'am. What case are you a witness for? Are you
Davis, Christina Davis. I'm not a witness. I'm actually against the plaintiff. We were here back, I don't know, for the last court hearing, and the attorney, Matt Wayne, was here, and he told us that there would be a hearing today.
are you the victim, ma'am?
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right, let's get you. I'm gonna get you in to speak with the prosecutor.
Thank you.
Samar, are you ready?
I have Miss Maddox. We're just setting it for a final pretrial.
Okay. All right, I'll let the judge know. Thank you.
Mary Ann says you got people in your waiting room on Zoom.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll get on there. Thank you.
Mr. Wayne,
Yes. Morning.
Good morning. Are you dragging my docket today? Is that what we're doing?
I'm afraid I am. I just have one more file to review.
Mr. Jadala, what are you ready with, sir? Oh. Mary Ann, did you call me out prematurely?
no ma'am, he must have just, no, he said he was ready. He must have jumped back. He was there a second ago.
I don't see him, that's all.
Oh.
I see Mr. Ramsayer.
Good morning, Mr. Ramsayer. Do you need to speak with the prosecutor?
I do not. This is just an expungement. Just
Oh,
waiting for my
okay.
client to sign in. All right. Yeah. Thank you.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Are you bringing our nice stuff on top of everything else?
First of all, good morning. I apologize.
Good morning.
My sister-in-law died on Friday.
Oh.
Normally, I would have been here to review, but things started moving so quickly. And
Judge, I'm gonna bring Mr. Jadala out, if that's okay.
Take your condolences to your family. Are you okay this morning?
Yeah, I am. I just,
Okay.
I hate being in this position. I'm sorry, but I just have one more file to put a plea in that I can go over and.
Do it because there's nothing ready.
Okay. So again, I apologize.
I understand, thank you. Ms. Maddox, as soon as Mr. Jadala comes back out, I'll call your case, okay?
He's here.
Thank you.
Oh, and here he is. These are 20R019816OM and 2201310M. These are Christina Maddox. May I have your appearances, please?
Honor, respectfully, Samuel Jadala, P62186, appearing on behalf of Mrs. Maddox. Ms. Maddox, please say your name.
Christina Maddox.
Thank you. Today is the day and time scheduled for the show cause arraignment and pretrial in these matters. Both of these cases are in warrant status. Mr. Jadala, the court will recall the warrants. How are we proceeding this morning?
After speaking with the city attorney, he has no objections in setting these matters directly for a final pretrial where all witnesses must appear.
And that date will be?
May 2nd at 8:50.
Ms. Maddox, did you confirm your address this morning with court staff?
Yes, I changed my address when I was there last time.
Thank you, ma'am. Then what will happen is that notice of that new that final pretrial date, May 2nd at 8:50 a.m. back here on Zoom with me in courtroom number 1 will be mailed to you at the address we have on record. Is there anything else, Mr. Jadala?
Nothing further, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Maddox, you're free to go. You have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you. You as well.
Thank you. We have a wedding at 11. Okay.
Your Honor, you want me to talk to these parties before the wedding?
Listen. Sir, if you're gonna cause chaos and mayhem this morning, I'm gonna put you out.
I just have some thoughts I'd share.
Courtroom number 1 is all about the fun. Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, we're ready on a Miss Hanson with the orders.
Ms. Hanson, turn your video on and unmute yourself for me, please. This is 2400120M, City of Romulus versus Diana Hanson. May I have your appearance, please?
Your Honor, for the record, Jeffrey Bowditch, 45367, appearing on behalf of and with Miss Hanson, who is by Zoom. Miss Hanson, could you tell the judge your name for the record, please?
Ms. Hanson, A, you're muted. B, are you actively driving a car?
Your Honor, I had requested that she be stationary.
I am. You're through my Bluetooth, so I'm not holding my phone.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. When your client's parked, Mr. Bowditch, I'll circle back and call the case again.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Hanson, you got to be stationary.
Alrighty.
And Judge or Mary Ann, did we set a Ms. Maddox for a final pretrial?
Yes, sir, for May 2nd at 8:50 a.m. with all witnesses to appear.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ramsayer, what did you need, sir?
I just have a Jason Leduc for an 8:40 motion to set aside, Your Honor. Waiting for him to sign in.
Is he with you?
He is not. He lives in California, so I'm waiting for him to sign in. I'm gonna give him a call right now.
As soon as he logs on, I'll take him. I'm sorry, Mr. Greco, you were saying?
And I'm just going to put Mr. Ramsayer in my room just for a minute. I want to talk to him for 1 minute.
Sure.
Oh, thank you.
Be right back.
Judge, I'm parked and ready when you are.
No, ma'am, that opportunity is passed. Please mute yourself. I'll call the case when the prosecutor's back and available. Mr. Jadal, I'm sorry to interrupt the conversation you were having, but for Ms. Maddox, she had not been arraigned. I know she's gone, but had you had a conversation with her about her arraignment?
I did, Your Honor. I would waive formal reading and staying, Your Honor. Respect to request personal bond in these matters.
Absolutely. 5,000 personal.
Thank you, Judge.
You may return to the breakout. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Hadley.
Good morning, Your Honor. How are you today?
I am super. How are you, sir?
Doing quite well. No, we got zoomy puppies with our shut door.
Hi, Josh. Do you need to speak to Mr. Greco?
No, actually, it's always good to see Mr. Greco, but I only have Belleville matters.
Oh, okay. All right. Do you need to speak to the Belleville prosecutor?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Two 4BL 00062 A and B. These are City of Belleville versus Shadagiri.
Yes, ma'am.
Respect for Your Honor, Sam Richardala, P62186, appearing on behalf of Mr. Chedagiri.
State your name for me, sir.
Sorry, ma'am.
Would you state your name for me, please, sir?
My name,
Yes,
Ashish Chand Todagiri.
thank you. Mr. Jadala, how are we proceeding with this arraignment and pretrial this morning?
Your Honor, for purposes of arraignment, we'd waive formal reading and stand mute. After speaking with the city attorney, Your Honor, he has no objection to dismissing both the A and B ticket.
Any objection to the cases being dismissed, sir?
No,
Cases are hereby dismissed. Is there anything else, Mr. Jadala?
Nothing further, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir, you're free to go. You have a great day.
so I don't have any other session, right, ma'am?
You're good. You're all
You
set.
don't have,
Okay, okay, thank you so much. Do I need to
You're
pay any
welcome.
fines? Do I need to pay any
no, sir,
fines,
there's
ma'am?
no fines. The cases are dismissed.
Okay, okay, thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Have a nice day, ma'am.
You too, thank you. Sir, take your hat off, please. This is 2400120M, City of Romulus versus Diana Hanson. Your appearances, please.
Your Honor, once again, Jeffrey Bowditch appearing on behalf of and with Miss Hanson. Miss Hanson, could you give the judge your name again, please?
Diana Hanson.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. This case is scheduled for show cause arraignment pretrial. Mr. Bowditch, how are we proceeding?
Your Honor, we would waive formal reading of the charges at the arraignment phase and stand mute. We've also had a chance to pre-try this, Your Honor. We do have an executed plea agreement in which Miss Hanson would be pleading guilty to the charge of malicious destruction of property, with the understanding the matter is going to be taken under 771 for a period of 12 months. There is a question, Your Honor, about restitution. The prosecutor, I believe, as we speak, is trying to address that with the alleged victim.
Yeah, I was unable to get in touch with her. I left a message, so we should just set it for a restitution hearing, I suppose.
Thank you. Ms. Hanson, raise your right hand for me, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. You've had the opportunity to discuss this case this morning with Mr. Bowditch, and it's your intention this morning to plead guilty to malicious destruction of property.
Yes.
Ma'am, you understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning, you will not have a trial of any kind?
Yes.
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor?
Yes.
And ma'am, you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am.
You haven't been threatened in any way or promised anything to get you to plead guilty?
No.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes.
Ma'am, is it true that on December 31st, 2023, in the city of Romulus, that you did willfully, wrongfully, and maliciously destroy property of another?
Yes.
Satisfied, Mr. Greco?
Yes.
Satisfied, Mr. Bowditch?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ma'am, the court accepts your plea of guilty to the sole count in this matter of malicious destruction of property. As indicated by Mr. Bowditch, this plea is taken pursuant to MCL 771.1. Your sentence will be delayed for a period of 12 months, so long as you incur no new criminal offenses in the state of Michigan, pay costs of $600, and the restitution requested by the victim in this case. The matter will be administratively reviewed for dismissal. Mr. Greco has already indicated that he has not been able to get a hold of the victim this morning. Mr. Greco, you wanted a hearing in this matter, or is it sufficient for this court to first send out a request for submission of invoices or receipts from the victim?
Well, I have been in contact with the victim, and she has conveyed to me the restitution amount. This case involves the slashing of tires. The defendant, according to her counsel, has indicated that she only slashed one tire. The victim told me that 4 of her tires were slashed by the defendant. So the issue is the cost of the restitution. So I think we probably, I tried to contact the victim just to see if there was any comment on the admission by the defendant, but I haven't been able to. So I think we need a hearing because the submission is we've already presented it's 4 and the defendant is saying it's only 1. So I don't think
We'll
the
set
issue
that
is-
on our next probation docket. Mary Ann, would you get the data from the probation docket for me, please?
Yes, give me 1 second, please.
Thank you. And Mr. Greco, Mr. Bowdish, what I'll have the probation department do is send notice to the victim to appear on that date and submit the invoices or estimates for the damage done.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, am I allowed to say anything?
Ms. Hanson, you don't need to say anything right now.
Okay.
You'll have plenty of time to talk, Ms. Hanson.
Okay.
Judge, June 3rd,
Ma'am,
June 3rd at 9 o'clock.
June 3rd at 9 a.m. Is there anything else, Mr. Greco?
Your Honor, is that over Zoom or in person?
How do you want it, sir?
It doesn't matter to me.
Mr. Bowdish, do you have a preference?
I'd prefer in person, Your Honor.
In person, in courtroom number 1 on June the 3rd at 9 a.m. Notice will be mailed to the parties. Ms. Hanson, you're free to go. You have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
They'll send you notice, Ms. Hanson.
These are 20
Alrighty.
BL 00607 A and B. These are City of Belleville versus Dominique Bailey. May I have your appearances, please?
Good morning, Your Honor. Daniel Batar on behalf of Mr. Bailey.
Good morning,
State
Your
your
Honor.
name
Matthew
for me,
Wayne on
please,
behalf of the
sir.
city of Belleville.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wayne.
I'm sorry, I just bring on my, I'm sorry, I thought you were, wanted me to put on my appearance. Matthew Wayne on behalf of the city of Belleville.
I was trying to get Mr. Bailey to state his name for me, please.
Oh, I'm Dominique Bailey. Sorry.
Thank you. Mr. Batar, how are we proceeding this morning?
Your Honor, Mr. Bailey is going to plead guilty to allowing an unlicensed driver to drive. The plate violation will be dismissed.
Thank you. Mr. Batar, both of these cases are on warrant status. The court will recall those warrants. Mr. Bailey, raise your right hand for me, please, sir. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. You may put your hand down. Sir, you had an opportunity to speak to Mr. Batar this morning. You understand the charges you face and the possible penalties.
Yes.
And after having that conversation, it's your understanding and agreement that you'll be tendering a plea of guilty to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive, the original charge of driving while license not valid, and the registration or plate violation would be dismissed.
Yes.
And sir, you understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning, you will not have a trial of any kind.
Yes.
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor.
Yes.
And sir, you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
You haven't been threatened in any way or promised anything to get you to plead guilty?
No.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes.
Sir, is it true that on November 17, 2020, in the city of Belleville, you allowed an unlicensed driver to drive?
Yes.
Satisfied, Mr. Wayne?
Yes, Your Honor.
Satisfied, Mr. Batar?
Satisfied, Your Honor.
Mr. Wayne, Mr. Wayne, Mr. Bailey, the court accepts your plea of guilty to the added count of allowing the unlicensed driver to drive and will dismiss the other charges as indicated previously. Mr. Bitar, is there anything on behalf of your client before fines and costs are imposed in this matter?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Bailey, is there anything you want to say on your own behalf, sir?
Just that I would need a few extra days to pay the fines and costs because I did just go to court. I've been trying to take care of previous tickets and stuff that's on my record. So I actually just went to court the 8th through your guys' court system for Belleville. So I'm trying to get those fines paid, and I'm including these fines, but I'm also, paying the 24th District Court on payment
Mr.
plans
Bailey, let
right
me
now,
cut you
so-
off there. Judge, Mr. Bailey's going to need a payment plan. I informed him how he can get one of those.
Yes.
He needs to contact the court, go on the website, or come in person.
Thank you. Mr. Bailey, the court will impose the following: a fine of $100, cost of $100. There's $75 mandatory crime victim fee. There's $50 mandatory state cost. There's $20 fund fee. There's $50 warrant fee, $50 late fee, $45 clearance fee, $4 administrative fee. That's $494. As Mr. Bitar has indicated, you are able to submit a request for a payment plan in one of three ways. You can come in person to the court, speak to the court's collection department. You may call and speak to someone, or you may go on the court's website. There's a contact us button. You click on that, it'll drop down. You're able to submit a request for a payment plan, but please do one of those three things sooner rather than later, okay?
Okay.
Other than that, Mr. Bailey, you're free to go. You have a great day.
All right. Thank you. And you too.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I see Mr. Ramsayer's client in the check-in room. I'm going to step away for a few minutes, but I do not have any objection to the relief requested in the motion that's been filed by Mr. Ramsayer on his client's behalf.
Thank you for that, Mr.
When he
Greco.
comes in. All right. I'll be back.
So Marianne, I'm back on this Paris at the courthouse idea.
I thought about you last night because I heard 100 days until the Olympics. I'm like, oh, here we go.
You know, all I need is a good theme and I'm off to the races.
I know that.
I'm trying to pull your client out, Mr. Ramsayer.
I
There we
appreciate it.
are.
There he is.
This is 093450OD, City of Romulus versus Jason LeDuc.
Absolutely. Good morning, Your Honor. Attorney Ryan Ramsey, P73195. On behalf of Mr. Jason Leduc, we are appearing via Zoom. We have any right to be present in the courtroom. Mr. Leduc, could you please identify yourself for the court record, spelling your last name?
This is Jason Leduc, Jason LADUKE.
And Your Honor,
Thank you.
this is our motion for Mr. Leduc to have his original conviction of an operating while intoxicated from 2009 set aside. We've received not only Attorney General's opinion, leaving it in the court's discretion, but also the MSP fingerprints indicating this is, in fact, his only conviction approximately 15 years ago. At this point, as Mr. Greco was kind enough to point out before he left, he does not object to this. We did submit a couple affidavits to the court. Hopefully you've received those on behalf of Mr. Leduc. Essentially, Mr. Leduc is somebody who's taken this 15 years very seriously. He is a businessman. He resides now in the state of North Dakota. However, this morning he is joining us from California, where he's there on business. So it's very early for him this morning. But he has learned very much from his past. He has taken appropriate measures to make sure that no further criminal contact of any kind has occurred. He has been successful in business. Obviously, it holds anyone back whenever they have a criminal conviction. And we want to make sure that he has the brightest future available. I think this is somebody who the law was changed to make sure that expungement was possible. Somebody who's gone through a long period of time with no further criminal contact and has taken this seriously. And I think Mr. Leduc definitely meets those qualifications.
Thank you. Mr. Leduc, is there anything you want to say on your own behalf, sir?
No, I mean, it was a transformative experience. Obviously negative in the moment, but better over the long term. Mr. Ramsayer reflects it well. I'm a good citizen and can be even better without this on my record.
Thank you. Mr. Ramsayer and Mr. Leduc, the court did have the opportunity to review the petition that was submitted previously. Note the written response from the Attorney General's office. Mr. Greco, the prosecutor, has been on and indicated that his office has no objection to this conviction being set aside. That being the case, Mr. Leduc, having fully discharged his obligations to this court, the petition will be granted, the conviction will be set aside. Mr. Ramsayer, if you will be kind enough to submit an order to that effect, the court will
Absolutely.
sign it. I'm sorry, Mr. Ramsayer, you were saying?
I apologize, Your Honor. I have one prepared. I'm going to email it over to Ms. Lennis, and we'll have that right directly to you.
Thank you. Mr. Leduc, you have a wonderful day, sir. Thank you for logging on this morning.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, thank you very much, Your Honor. Stay safe. Have a wonderful day.
You too, sir. Two zero RP 0490, City of Romulus versus Caleb Paredes.
Daniel Batar on behalf of Mr. Paredes, Your Honor.
Would you state your name for me, please, sir?
Caleb Paredes.
Paredes, thank you. Mr. Batar, how are we proceeding?
Your Honor, the prosecution is going to dismiss this matter.
And I can't imagine that you have any objection, Mr. Batar.
That is correct, Judge.
Case is hereby dismissed, sir. The bond that you posted will be refunded to you, less any fees due to the court. If there's nothing else, you're free to go. You have a great day.
Thank you, Judge. You have a good day.
Thank you.
and it has a little.
This morning,
Mr. Wayne,
Yes, Your Honor.
it looks like Mr. Jadala is in your meeting room and there are people waiting to see you as well.
Okay, I will go to my room then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's been a live stream, so everybody can see it, but. Another blessing. Blessing.
24BL00104. This is City of Belleville versus Atterbury. Your appearances, please.
Your Honor, respectfully, Sandra Gonzalez, P62186, appearing on behalf of Mr. Atterbury. Mr. Atterbury, please say your name.
David Daniel Atterbury.
How are we proceeding, Mr. Jadala?
Your Honor, for purposes of arraignment, we'd waive formal reading and stand mute. At this time, Mr. Atterbury will be availing himself to the plea whereby he plead responsible to one count of double parking, Judge.
Any agreement with Mr. Wayne regarding the fine?
No, Your Honor, we leave it to your discretion.
Thank you. Mr. Atterbury, you had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Jadala this morning, and you understand the charges you face and the possible penalties.
Yes.
And after having that conversation, sir, is it your understanding and agreement that you'll be tendering a plea of responsible to the added count of double parking and the original charge of open intoxicants and vehicle will be dismissed?
Yes.
Sir, the court accepts your plea of responsible to the added count of double parking, dismisses the original misdemeanor. The court will impose a fine in this matter of $200. Do you need more than 5 days to pay that amount, sir?
No, I come down today.
And thank you, Mr. Atterbury. You have a good day.
Thank you, you too. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, sir. Two four RP 01622OM, City of Romulus versus Sharita Haynes. Your appearances, please.
Hello.
David Greco here on behalf of the city of Romulus.
Daniel Batar on behalf of Miss Haynes, Your Honor. Miss Haynes, can you state your name for the record, please?
Sharita Hay.
Thank you. Mr. Vitar, how are we proceeding this morning with this arraignment and pretrial?
Your Honor, the prosecution is moving to dismiss the matter.
That's correct, Your Honor. The apartment complex manager no longer wishes to pursue this on a criminal, from a criminal perspective, only civil.
Thank you. This case is hereby dismissed. Ms. Haynes, you're free to go. You have a great day.
Thank you. How you turn it off, baby?
I'll put you out. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
There he is.
Were you expecting Davis and Pinoa out?
No, I'm gonna leave them where they are for now. I need to speak with Mr. Wayne. I waited in the room but didn't catch him last time through. There he is.
Two four RP 01700OM, City of Romulus versus Sherrod Beeman Gross. May I have your appearance, please?
Your Honor, respectfully, Samuel Jadala, appearing on behalf of Mr. Beeman Gross. Mr. Beeman Gross, please say your name. Rod, say your name.
Sherrod?
Your name, Mr. Beeman Gross.
Hello, I can't. Yeah, yes, I couldn't hear you. I had to disconnect my headphones. The audio kept going in and out. I apologize.
No problem. Could you just say your name?
Oh yes, Sherrod Beeman Gross.
Thank you. Mr. Jadala, how are we
Beeman Gross.
proceeding?
Your Honor, respectfully, Samuel Jadala, appearing on behalf of Mr. Beeman Gross. Your Honor, for purposes of today's arraignment, we're going to waive formal reading and stand mute. At this time, Mr. Beeman Gross will be availing himself to the plea of one count of disorderly conduct. There is no objection by the prosecution to fines only sentence, Your Honor.
Mr. Beeman Gross?
Yes.
Would you raise your right hand for me, please, sir? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. You may put your hand down. You've had the opportunity to discuss your case this morning with Mr. Jadala, and you understand the charges you face and the possible penalties.
Yes.
And after having that conversation, sir, is your understanding and agreement that you'll be tendering a plea of guilty this morning to the added count of disorderly person, the original charge of fighting would be dismissed?
Yes, ma'am.
And sir, you understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning, you will not have a trial of any kind?
Yes, I understand.
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor?
Yes.
And sir, you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
You haven't been threatened in any way, promised anything to get you to plead guilty?
No.
Are you pleading guilty?
I couldn't hear you.
Sir, are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Oh no. I understand my charges and I understand the situation. That's why. It was to reduce my sentence. That's why I agreed.
Sir, is it true that on March the 28th, 2024, in the city of Romulus, you were a disorderly person?
You said this yes.
Satisfied, Mr. Greco?
Yes.
Satisfied, Mr. Jadala?
Satisfied, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The court accepts your plea of guilty to being a disorderly person, dismisses the original charge of fighting. Mr. Jadala, was there anything you wanted to say before fines and costs are imposed in this matter?
No, Your Honor, we just asked that minimal fines and costs, Your Honor.
Thank you. Sir, the court will impose the following: a fine of $100, cost of $100. There's $75 mandatory crime victims fee, $50 mandatory state cost, $20 fund fee. That's $345. Do you need more than 5 days to pay that amount, sir?
Yes.
And sir, I'll have you do one of three things. You must do one of these three things in the next 5 days. You may call the court's collection department, set a payment plan. You may come in person, set a payment plan, or you may go on the court's website. There's a contact us button. You click on that. It will drop down and allow you to submit a request for a payment plan. But again, do one of those three things within the next 5 days, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Other than that, sir, you're free to go. You have a great day.
Okay, thank you. You have a nice day too.
Thank you. Mr. Cooksey, we're just waiting for Mr. Mays. As soon as I see him, I'll get you connected with him. We'll call your case, okay? Mhm. Mr. Bowditch, are you ready with something?
Judge, could I ask a question, please?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Wayne told me that he had drafted an offer sheet that he may have given to the court. Do you have an offer sheet for Mr. Wayne?
I do not. Unless you're talking about maybe a specific file.
No.
I have Mr. Greco's offers.
Okay, thank you, Judge. No worries.
Your Honor, I have nothing yet. I'm waiting for Mr. Adkins at 9 o'clock. The next one I have is
Okay,
at 30.
thank you. Mr. Stewart, would you either please close those blinds that are behind you, or
I'm sorry about that.
that's okay, I just couldn't see you. Did you speak to a clean shaven man or a man with a beard?
Probably clean shaven.
Okay, as soon as he comes back in this main session, I'll call your case for you, sir. 2401350M, City of Romulus versus Norris.
Correct, Your Honor, Sam Jadala, P62186, appearing on behalf of Ms. Norris. Ms. Norris, could you please say your name?
Aaliyah Norris. Turn your video on for me, ma'am. Mr. Jadala, how are we proceeding with this pretrial?
Your Honor, at this time, we'd respectfully request this matter be set for a final pretrial with witnesses that happen to appear.
May 2nd at 9:10.
Thank you.
May 2nd at 9:10 for final pretrial where witnesses must appear. Is there anything else, Mr. Greco?
No, you're right. This is on the Norris matter, correct?
Yes, sir.
Logged in, yeah. No.
Anything else, Mr. Jadala?
Nothing further, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Norris, you're free to go. You have a good day. I'm sorry.
Just for clarification, normally for the final pre-trials, we have the victim show up. In this case, there is a video from the employer. Is it necessary, Sam? I can produce the video for you. I don't need the HR person or anything, right?
No, if you just give me the video prior to, that would be fine, and just the victim.
Video and the victim, that's fine.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Jadala, were you with Mr. Stewart?
I was, Judge.
I asked him clean shaven or beard. He said clean shaven. 2309450.
I apologize, I'm not
City of You're fine, Mr. Stewart. City of Romulus versus Clarence Stewart III, your appearance.
Your Honor, respectfully, Sam Jadala, P62186, appearing on behalf of Mr. Stewart. Purposes of arraignment, we'd waive formal reading and stand mute. Mr. Stewart, please say your name for the record.
Clarence Stewart III.
The bond recommendation asks or indicates that that the police department does not oppose personal bond. Mr. Stewart, the court will set your bond at $5,000 personal. You do not need to post any money, but what you must do is continue to appear as directed by the court until this case is resolved in its entirety. Because the allegations that you were operating a motor vehicle while intoxicated, condition of your bond is that you not purchase, possess, consume any alcoholic beverages until further order of the court or until this matter is resolved in its entirety. Mr. Jadala, for purposes of the pretrial, how are we proceeding?
Your Honor, at this time, Mr. Stewart would like to avail himself to the plea whereby he'll be pleading to 1 count of impaired driving, 1 count of no operator's license on person. The open intoxicants in the vehicle is being dismissed.
Thank you. Mr. Stewart, raise your right hand for me, please, sir. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. You may put your hand down. Sir, you had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Greco this morning. Mr. Greco,
Yes.
I'm sorry, Mr. Jadala this morning, and you understand the charges you face and the possible penalties.
Yes.
And after having that conversation, sir, it's your understanding and agreement that you will be entering pleas of guilty to operating while impaired and no operator's license on person.
Yes.
And sir, you understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning, you will not have a trial of any kind.
Yes.
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor.
Yes.
And sir, you're entering these pleas freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
You haven't been threatened in any way or promised anything to get you to plead guilty?
No.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes.
Sir, is it true that on December 2nd, 2023, in the city of Romulus, you operated a motor vehicle while you were impaired by some intoxicant?
Yes.
And sir, is it also true that on that date, time, and in the city of Romulus, you operated a motor vehicle with no operator's license on person?
Yes.
And Mr. Stewart, you admit and agree that your blood alcohol at the time you encountered police on December 2nd, 2023 was a 0.147.
Yes.
Satisfied, Mr. Greco? Satisfied, Mr. Jadala?
Satisfied, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Stewart, the court accepts your plea of guilty to operating while impaired and no operator's license on person. The original charges of operating while intoxicated, open intoxicant vehicle, and driving while license suspended, revoked, or denied are dismissed. Sir, because the allegations that, well, the plea is to a drinking and driving offense, the court will refer the matter to the probation department. They will interview you, develop a sentence recommendation, and send you notice to appear in this court for sentence to be imposed. They will be reaching out to you, they being the probation department, will be reaching out to you by phone and by email. Please respond to their attempts to contact you, okay?
Yes.
Anything else, Mr. Jadala?
Nothing further, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Stewart, you're free to go. You have a good day. I'll see you at sentencing.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Mays, were you ready with Mr. Cooksey?
We are. Thank you, Judge.
Two 402-740D, City of Romulus versus Bobby Cooksey Jr., your appearances.
David Greco here on behalf of the city of Romulus.
And good morning, Your Honor. William Mays on behalf of Mr. Cooksey. Mr. Cooksey, state your name, please.
Bobby Cooksey Jr.
And
Thank you,
today,
Mr.
Judge, I
Mays,
think it's
how are we
arraignment pretrial. Yeah, we'll waive reading on the arraignment, ask the court to enter a not guilty plea, and we, the prosecutor and I have pre-tried the case, and we're adjourning for discovery.
That's correct.
The recommendation from the police department indicates that they do not oppose personal bond. For that reason, Mr. Cooksey, court will set your bond at $5,000 personal. You do not need to post any money, but what you must do is continue to appear as directed by the court until this case is resolved in its entirety. Because the allegation is that you were drinking with a blood alcohol content of in excess of 0.17. Condition of your bond is that you not purchase, possess, consume any alcoholic beverages during the pendency of this matter or until further order of the court. Your adjourned pretrial date will be
May 2nd at 8:50.
Okay.
May 2nd at 8:50. I'm sorry, Mr. Mays, were you going to say something?
No, that's good. May 2.
Mr. Cooksey, notice of that new date and time will be mailed to you at the address you verified with court staff this morning. Is there anything else, Mr. Greco?
No, Your Honor.
Anything else, Mr. Mays?
No, Your Honor. Have a great day. Thank you.
You too. Thank you. Mr. Cooksey, you're free to go. You have a good day, sir.
All right, thank you. You too.
Mr. Hamilton, please turn your video on and unmute yourself. These are 24BL00095 A and B. These are City of Belleville versus Ronald Hamilton.
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
Daniel Batar on behalf of Mr. Hamilton, Your Honor. Sorry, I got thrown off for a minute. I thought he disappeared. Mr. Hamilton, can you say your name for the record, please?
Yes, my name's Ronald Hamilton.
Thank you. Mr. Batar, how are we proceeding?
Your Honor, Mr. Hamilton is going to plead guilty to allowing an unlicensed driver to drive. The plate violation will be dismissed.
Thank you. Mr. Hamilton, raise your right hand for me, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
You may put your hand down. Sir, you had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Batar this morning, and you understand the charges you face and the possible penalties.
Yes, I do.
And after having that conversation, sir, is your understanding and agreement that you'll be tendering a plea of guilty to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive and the driving while license suspended and the registration or plate violation will be dismissed?
Yes, Your Honor.
And sir, you understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning, you will not have a trial of any kind?
Yes, I understand that.
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear or understand the full question.
I'm sorry. I said you understand that you will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor?
Yes, Your Honor, I do understand that.
And sir, you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
You haven't been threatened in any way or promised anything to get you to plead guilty?
No.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes.
Sir, is it true that on March the 14th, 2024, in the city of Belleville, you allowed an unlicensed driver to drive?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir, the court accepts your plea of guilty to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive and dismisses the original driving while license suspended and the civil infraction registration or plate violation. Mr. Batar, was there anything you'd like to say on behalf of your client before fines and costs are imposed in this matter?
Judge, Mr. Hamilton has already told me he's going to set up a payment plan or needs to set up a payment plan, and I've explained to him the process for doing that.
Thank you. Mr. Hamilton, the court will impose the following: a fine of $100, cost of $100. There's $75 mandatory crime victims fee, $50 mandatory state cost, $20 fund fee. That's $345. Your case will be sent to collections. And Mr. Hamilton, in the next 5 days, you need to do one of three things. You may call the courthouse, speak to the collections department, set up a payment plan. You may come in person and set a payment plan, or you may go onto the court's website. There's a contact us button. You click on that, you'll be able to submit your request for payment plan that way, okay?
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
If there's nothing else, Mr. Hamilton, you're free to go. You have a wonderful day.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. These are 24BL00024 and BL00023. These are City of Belleville versus Matthew Pinal and Christina Davis. May I have your appearances, please?
Matthew Pino here.
You're muted, Mr. Hadley.
Good morning, Your Honor. Attorney Josh Hadley, appearing on behalf of co-defendants Matthew Pinot and Christina Davis. They have waived any conflict of interest and have agreed to allow me to represent both of them moving forward.
Good morning, Your Honor. Matthew Wayne on behalf of the city of Belleville.
Thank you, Mr. Wayne. Mr. Hadley, how are we proceeding in these matters this morning?
Your Honor, my understanding after speaking with the people is the complainant in this matter wanted to be heard today. Is that correct? Is that where we're at, Mr. Wayne?
That's what she had indicated. I know she was here earlier. I do not see her on Zoom now. Her name is Maureen Williams.
Hello, can you hear me?
Mr. Freeman, I'm not calling your case quite yet. If you would sit tight, I'll get to you in just a moment.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. I don't see anyone by that name.
I was just talking to Miss Marina. She's at the courtroom. Sorry.
Yeah, Your Honor, I agree. I don't see where she is. I did see her name earlier. She is not here though presently. So,
Mr. Freeman, did you say that you were speaking with this individual? Where were you speaking with her at?
On live stream, Miss Marina was in some kind of room at the courthouse, and she said she went there this morning, and they put her on her phone in the room. I seen a bailiff or an officer come into the room and speak to her.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, is there someone in the Zoom room? She's disconnected for some reason, or she's not in this main session. They're telling me miss. Let's figure it out, would you please? Thank you. Do we need input from this person to proceed this morning, Mr. Hadley?
I'll leave that to the people.
I've sent the court officers in there. They say there's a man in there, but you're saying that you're looking for a Miss Williams?
yes, Your Honor, it's Maureen Williams.
They're going into the Zoom room. Give us one moment.
That is so funny.
Oh, it looks like she may have been released prematurely and not here. So, Mr. Wayne, what is it that you'd like to do, sir?
Well, Ms. Williams was going to address.
I'm sorry, hold on one second. Yes. Yeah. we just figured it out. Thank you. I'm sorry, Mr. Wayne, you were starting to say?
Yes, Your Honor. So Ms. Williams contacted me yesterday and she indicated that she had some information relating to alleged bond violations of the defendants and that she wanted to present that information to the court.
Okay. Mr. Wayne, it's just been confirmed to me that she was released prematurely, that she was thought to be on a different case. There are two people in the clerk's waiting room waiting to be identified. And if one of them is the woman you're referring to, we'll pull her back into this main session. But other than the I'm sorry, Mr. Hadley, any response? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm trying to think of where to go with this. Mr. Hadley, you're aware of the allegations about the bond violation?
We are, Your Honor. I've spoken with my clients and our position is they are unfounded. There's no validity to these. Both defendants are stating that they've had no contact with the complainant since bond was in place.
We can do one of two things. We can either put this matter over for adjourned pretrial bond violation hearing on the next Belleville docket, or we can proceed this morning. It's up to the parties.
Proceed.
Mr. Prophet, I didn't ask you a question.
Mr. Hadley, perhaps we should go to the breakout room.
Let's do that. If Your Honor could just pass the matter real quick.
Absolutely. Ms. Davis
you.
and Mr. Pinal, we'll be back with you momentarily. Mr. Batar.
Yes, Judge.
20RP03590, City of Romulus versus Royal.
Yes, ma'am.
Daniel Batar on behalf of Miss Royal, Your Honor.
State your name, ma'am.
Naya Royal.
Thank you. This is the final pretrial. Mr. Batar, how are we proceeding?
Judge, it was set for a final pretrial for complainant to appear. I'm not aware of any complainants appearing today. Mr. Greco, do you have anything to add?
Your Honor, I do not have anything to add. We did send a contact letter to the victim, in this case, Amazon, and attempted to contact them to verify some information. We have heard nothing, so we are moving to dismiss.
This case is hereby dismissed. Ms. Royal, the bond that you posted will be refunded to you less any administrative fees due to the court. Mr. Batar, is there anything else?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Mr. Greco, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Royal, you're free to go. Have a good day.
Okay, I do have one question. Will it's
Yes,
gonna
ma'am.
is the bond gonna get mailed to my house?
That's my understanding, ma'am.
Oh, okay. That was all.
No worries. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Two 2402680M and 2402800M. These are both City of Romulus versus Marquel Gaines. May I have your appearances, please?
Respect for Your Honor, Sam Richardala, P62186, appearing on behalf of Mr. Gaines.
And David Greco here on behalf of the City of Romulus.
State your name for me, sir.
Mark Will Gaines.
Thank you. Mr. Jadala, how are we proceeding?
Your Honor, we're just asking for a final pretrial with witnesses having to appear, Judge.
May 2nd at 9:20, Judge.
May 2nd at 9:20 a.m. Final pretrial with complainant to appear. Mr. Gaines, court staff will mail notice of that new date and time to you at the address you verified this morning. Is there anything else, Mr. Greco?
No, Your Honor.
Anything else, Mr. Jadala?
Nothing further, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. Gaines, you're free to go. You have a great afternoon.
You too.
Thank you.
Your Honor, Your Honor, may I address the court?
Sir, how may I help you?
Your Honor, I have a Mr. Dwayne Lee at 9:30. I've been in constant contact with him. He's receiving some phone troubles. It may be his phone is gone. I'd like to request an adjournment in this matter, but he has been here. We have been in constant communication for the last 40 minutes or so. He just can't seem to get his phone to work. So we
Does
are.
he want to come to the court?
Pardon?
Does he want to come to the court?
Well, Your Honor, I gave him that possibility. He said a Zoom hearing, if given the appropriate amount of time, he'll get a new phone.
2309440D, City of Romulus versus Dwayne Lee, based on the assertions of defense attorney that Mr. Lee is unable to connect with the court, we will adjourn this matter. New date will be
May 2nd at 9:20.
notice will be mailed to your client, Mr. Bowditch, at the address we have on file, which is on Beaverland Street.
I'm also going to text him that information as we speak, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Nope. 24BL000560T. This is City of Belleville versus Joseph Freeman. Your appearance, please.
Respect to Your Honor, Samuel Jadala, P62186, appearing on behalf of Mr. Freeman.
Good morning, Your Honor. Matthew Wayne on behalf of the City of Belleville.
Mr. Freeman, state your name for me, please.
Joseph Thomas Freeman.
Thank you. This case is scheduled for arraignment and pretrial this morning. Mr. Jadala, how are we proceeding?
Your Honor, for purposes of arraignment, would waive formal reading and stand mute. For purposes of pretrial, Your Honor, my client will be availing himself to the plea of one count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive.
Thank you. Mr. Freeman, raise your right hand for me, please, sir. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. May put your hand down. Sir, you had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Jadala this morning. You understand the charges you face and the possible penalties.
Yes, ma'am.
And after having that conversation, sir, is your understanding and agreement that you'll be entering a plea of guilty to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive, and the original charge of driving while license suspended will be dismissed?
Yes, ma'am.
And sir, you understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning, you will not have a trial of any kind.
Yes, ma'am.
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor.
Yes, ma'am.
And sir, you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am.
You haven't been threatened in any way or promised anything to get you to plead guilty?
No, ma'am.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, is it true that on February 18, 2024, in the city of Belleville, you allowed an unlicensed driver to drive?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, the court accepts your plea of guilty to the added count, dismisses the original charge of driving while license suspended. Mr. Jadala, is there anything you'd like to say on behalf of your client before fines and costs are imposed in this matter?
No, Your Honor, we just ask for minimal fines and costs.
Thank you. Mr. Freeman, the court will impose the following. There's a fine of $100. There's cost of $100. There's mandatory crime victim fee of $75. There's $50 mandatory state cost, $20 fund fee. That's $345. Sir, do you need more than 5 days to pay that amount?
Yes, ma'am. I was going to see if I can get on a payment plan.
Absolutely, Mr. Freeman, you are able to get on a payment plan. You will do that in one of three ways. You may come in person to the courthouse, speak to collection staff. You may call and speak to collection staff, or you may go onto the court's website. There's a contact us button. You click on that button, it'll drop down. You'll be able to submit a request for a payment plan that way. Please do one of those three things within the next 5 days. Mr. Freeman, you have another unrelated matter that is in warrant status with this court. It is 23SU00748B. This is a driving while license suspended, revoked, or denied out of Sumter Township from July 11, 2023. And as much as you have appeared this morning, the court will recall that warrant, schedule you for arraignment pretrial on the next Sumter docket. Mary Ann will get a date if you give us just one moment.
Please, ma'am. And I apologize about
Absolutely. Mr. Freeman, I wasn't trying to cut you off. There's a 2-second delay between the time you talk and the time I hear it, and sometimes it's just,
No, you're fine. I apologize. I missed that court date. I was going to get that handled.
May 9th at 9:30 with Judge Green.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Mary Ann, May 9th at 9:30 with whom?
Judge Green?
Judge Green, that means on Zoom. And number 3. Other than that, Mr. Freeman, you're free to go. Don't forget to call the collections department and the other matter. Have a good day, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you. This is a recall of 23BL00023 and 24 Davis and Pinal. Mr. Hadley, how are we proceeding?
Sorry about that, Your Honor. After having a chance to speak with the people, I think we were waiting to determine if the complainant had logged back in as one of the unidentified individuals in the waiting room with the clerk.
Everyone who's logged on has been identified at this point. I'm going through, I don't see anyone by the last name of Williams. So, Mr. Hadley, how are we proceeding?
Your Honor, our goal was to hope to work to a resolution today, but I can't speak for the people entirely on this, but if we've got an alleged bond violation and no complainant, I don't know how we can proceed.
Your Honor, if I may, I do agree with Mr. Hadley in that respect, but I do want to note that Ms. Williams was present and that she has attended, I believe, all proceedings up to this point. And so in that respect, we would request that this matter be adjourned.
Thank you. That new date will be
May 9th at 8:50.
Are we treating it as a final pretrial with a request that the complainant appear?
I believe if a bond, if we could do both proceedings, both the bond violation hearing and a final pretrial.
Mr. Hadley?
That's fine with us, Your Honor. Again, I think that everyone's
Bond
trying to work towards-
violation, final pretrial on May the 9th at 8:50 a.m. back here in number 1 with the complainant
said
to
at
appear.
8:50, I'm sorry.
As indicated.
Well, my audio cut out really bad there. I'm sorry. Could you state the date again, Your Honor? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Mr. Hadley, May 9th at 8:50 a.m.
Thank you, Your
Was
Honor.
there
Sorry about
anything else, Mr. Wayne?
No, Your Honor.
Anything else, Mr. Hadley?
No, Your Honor. If I could just pull my clients into a breakout room before I depart, I'd appreciate it.
Before you do, there's a note on the front of Mr. Pinot's file that there's a new ticket that was due on April the 16th for technical violation. A violation of technical requirements, I'm sorry.
This is the first notice we've had of that, at least that I have, Your Honor.
It's just clipped to the front of the file, Mr. Hadley, so I'm not sure when the citation was issued to Mr. Pinot, but
Your Honor,
other
if I
than
may.
that,
If I
other
may.
than that, Mr. Hadley, we'll get your clients moved back into the breakout room with you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
24BL 000540T, City of Belleville versus James Prophet.
Daniel Batara on behalf of Mr. Prophet, Your Honor. Mr. Prophet, can you unmute yourself and state your name for the record, please?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. It was James Prophet.
Thank you. Mr. Bitar, how are we proceeding with this arraignment pretrial?
Mr. Prophet is going to plead guilty to allowing an unlicensed driver to drive.
Thank you. Mr. Prophet, raise your right hand for me, please, sir. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. You may put your hand down, sir. You had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Bitar. You understand the charges you face and the possible penalties.
Yes, ma'am, I do.
And after having that conversation, sir, is your understanding and agreement that you'll be entering a plea of guilty to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive, and the original charge of driving while license suspended would be dismissed?
Yes, ma'am.
And sir, you understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning, you will not have a trial of any kind.
Yes, ma'am.
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor.
Yes, ma'am.
And sir, you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am.
You haven't been threatened in any way or promised anything to get you to plead guilty?
No, ma'am.
Are you pleaded guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, is it true that on February 16, 2024, in the city of Belleville, you allowed an unlicensed driver to drive?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, the court accepts your plea of guilty to allowing an unlicensed driver to drive and will dismiss the original charge of driving while licensed, suspended, revoked, or denied. Mr. Bitar, is there anything you'd like to say on behalf of Mr. Prophet before fines and costs are imposed in this matter?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Prophet, the court will impose the following: a fine of $100. There's costs of $100. There's mandatory crime victims fee, $75. Mandatory state costs of $50. There's $100 fine, $100 cost, $75 mandatory crime victims fee, $50 mandatory state cost, and $20 fund fee. That's $345. Sir, do you need more than 5 days to pay that amount?
Yes, ma'am. I just went back to work this week.
Then, Mr. Prophet, I need you to do one of three things in the next 5 days, okay? I need you to either come in person to the courts and speak to the collection department and set a payment plan. You may go online. There's a contact us button. You click on that, it'll drop down. You can submit a request for a payment plan that way. Or you can call and speak to someone in the collections department, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
But you need to do one of those three things, again, within the next 5 days. And sir, Mr. Prophet, just so you're aware, you have another outstanding citation from this court from 2023 where you owe $660. The court's collection department will be able to make a single payment plan for both of these matters, okay?
Okay, I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Is there anything else, Mr. Bitar?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Prophet, you're free to go. You have a good day, sir.
You do the same, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Wade, Mr. Jadala is waiting in your meeting room and you have somebody in your waiting room.
I'll go there, Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Carol.
I'm just here till we're done.
Thank you, ma'am. Two four RP 007610M, City of Romulus versus Gerald James. Your appearances, please.
Respectfully, Your Honor, Sam Richard Dollar, P 62186, appearing on behalf of Mr. James. For purposes of arraignment, we'd wait formal reading and stand mute.
And David Greco here
Mr.
on
James,
behalf
state
of
your
the-
name for me, please. I'm sorry.
Daryl
Daryl James.
Mr. Jadala, how are we proceeding this morning?
Your Honor, at this time, we're just asking for a pretrial in this matter.
Mr. James, the court will set your bond in this matter at 1,000 personal. You do not need to post any money, but what you must do is continue to appear as directed by this court until this matter is resolved in its entirety. Mr. Jadala has requested the discovery in this matter. We will adjourn your pretrial to
May 2nd at 9:30.
May 2nd at 9:30.
Okay.
Mr. James, notice of that time will be mailed to you at the address that you verified with court staff this morning, okay?
Yep.
Other than that, Mr. James, you're free to go. You have a good day. Just leave out of that door to your left.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you, both of you.
Thank you, sir.
These are 24BL, nope. These files do not go together. 24BL001130T, City of Belleville versus Jay Davis. Your appearances, please.
Your Honor, respectfully, Sam Richard Dollar, appearing on behalf of Mrs. David. Purposes of arraignment, we'd wait formal reading and stand mute. Ms. Davis, please say your name.
Jay Davis.
Mr. Jadala, had you had the chance to pre-try this matter with Mr. Wayne?
I have, Your Honor. At this time, Mrs. Davis will be pleading to one count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive.
Thank you. Ms. Davis, raise your right hand for me, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. You may put your hand down. Ma'am, you had the chance to speak to Mr. Jadala this morning. You understand the charges you face and the possible penalties.
Yes, ma'am.
And after having that conversation, ma'am, it's your understanding and agreement that you'll be entering a plea of guilty to the added count of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive, and the original charge of driving while license suspended would be dismissed.
Yes, ma'am.
And ma'am, you understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning, you will not have a trial of any kind. You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor.
Sure.
And ma'am, you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
You haven't been threatened in any way or promised anything to get you to plead guilty?
No.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes.
Ma'am, is it true that on March the 28th, 2024, in the city of Belleville, you allowed an unlicensed driver to drive?
Yes.
Ma'am, the court accepts your plea of guilty of allowing an unlicensed driver to drive and will dismiss the original charge of driving while licensed, suspended, revoked, or denied. Mr. Jadala, is there anything you'd like to say on behalf of your client before fines and costs are imposed in this matter?
Your Honor, we just ask for minimal costs and fines, please.
Thank you. Ms. Davis, the court will impose the following: a fine of $100. There's cost of $100. There's $75 mandatory crime victims fee, $50 mandatory state costs, and $20 fund fee. That's $345. Do you need more than 5 days to pay that amount?
Yes. I just
Then, Ms.
asked for-
Davis, I need you to do one of three things, please, ma'am. You may come in person, speak to a member of this court's collection staff and set a payment plan. You may call and speak to the collection department, set a payment plan, or you may go onto the court's website. There's a contact us button. You click on that, it'll drop down. You can submit a request for a payment plan, but you must do one of those three things within the next 5 days. Understood?
Yes.
Ms. Davis, you're free to go. You have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. You as well.
Thank you. This is 2402810D, City of Romulus versus Rachel Patton. May I have your appearance, please?
Daniel Batar on behalf
Hello.
of Ms. Patton, Your Honor. I'm sorry, Dave, go ahead.
No, it's okay. Your Honor, David Greco here on behalf of the city of Romulus.
Ma'am, state your name for me, please.
Rachel Iman Patton.
Thank you, Ms. Patton. Mr. Batar, how are we proceeding with this pretrial?
Your Honor, Ms. Patton is going to plead guilty to operating while visibly impaired. She will also plead guilty to no operator's license on person.
Ms. Patton, raise your right hand for me, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Ma'am, you had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Jadala, I'm sorry, Mr. Batar this morning. You understand the charges you face and the possible penalties.
Yes, ma'am.
And after having that conversation, is it your understanding and agreement that you will be tendering pleas of guilty to the added counts of operating while visibly impaired and no operator's license on person, and the original charges will be dismissed?
Yes, ma'am.
And ma'am, you understand that if the court accepts your pleas this morning, you will not have a trial of any kind?
Yes, ma'am.
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor?
Yes, ma'am.
And ma'am, you're entering these pleas freely and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am.
You haven't been threatened in any way or promised anything to get you to plead guilty?
No, ma'am.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes.
Ma'am, is it true that on December 12th, 2023, in the city of Romulus, you operated a motor vehicle while you were visibly impaired?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, is it true that on that date and time, you had a blood alcohol content of 0.20 or more?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, is it also true on that December 12th, 2023 date, again in the city of Romulus, you operated a motor vehicle while you had no operator's license on your person?
Yes, ma'am.
Satisfied, Mr. Greco?
Yes, Your Honor. Sorry, I was fumbling around.
No worries. Satisfied, Mr. Batar?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Patton, the court accepts your pleas of guilty to operating while visibly impaired and no operator's license on person. The original counts are dismissed. Because these are drinking and driving offenses, the court will refer this matter to the probation department. They will be reaching out to you by phone and by email. There will be forms for you to complete and an interview for you to conduct. They are the ones that will develop a sentence recommendation and schedule you to return to court for a sentence to be imposed. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Patton. That concludes the matter for the morning. You're free to go. I will see you at sentencing.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. What happened to Mr. Davis for Mr. Ferran? I thought I saw him earlier.
Your Honor, Mr. Davis was here for Mr. Ferran. He had indicated to me that he had received a message from Mr. Ferran yesterday that he was being discharged as his lawyer. I did have a conversation with Mr. Davis where he told me that, and I did receive communication from another lawyer last night indicating he was going to be entering an appearance in this case, but I have not seen an appearance, and I have not seen that lawyer today. It was Ed Zelenak. I don't want to, he hasn't entered an appearance yet, but I did receive contact from another attorney.
I haven't seen Mr. Zelenak, who tends to appear in person in the court, and this court has not authorized Mr. Davis to withdraw from the case. So I'm not sure if we just adjourn this matter and renotice with Mr. Davis to appear.
Yeah, why don't we, when I spoke with Mr. Davis about a half hour ago, he indicated he was coming back to the room to talk to you about the issues. So I don't know where he went or.
He has not, and we still have some files pending. Let's see if he reappears.
Okay.
Other than that,
And
it
Judge,
looks like our last case was scheduled at 10 o'clock. I'm sorry.
speaking of that last case, Judge, Mr. Lawrence, since I had you and Mr. Greco here, there's going to be a move to dismiss both cases. I believe Mr. Lawrence is having some health issues. Your Honor, just for judicial economy, if Mr. Greco doesn't object to waiving his appearance, we'd ask if those matters would be dismissed.
I have no objection, Your Honor. My contact with the witnesses is that they're no longer interested in pursuing these matters, and I think one of them I could not get in contact with, and these cases are from 2017.
These are 171690 and 172243. These are both City of Romulus versus Kevin Lawrence, based on the representations made by Mr. Greco as the prosecutor for the city and Mr. Jadala as the attorney for Mr. Lawrence. These cases are hereby dismissed. Is there anything else in these matters, Mr. Greco?
No, Your Honor.
Anything else, Mr. Jadala?
Nothing further, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you. It doesn't look like there was any bond or anything posted in these matters, so we will close them out.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Your Honor, do you want, I'm going to try and call Mr. Davis. If maybe we can sort out whether he's continuing on this matter or not, since Mr. Ferran is here.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Wayne, there is somebody in your breakout room waiting for you.
Okay, I will go there. Thank you, Your Honor. Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor, did you say the waiting room or the meeting room?
It looks like
Mr. Mout is in your waiting room. If you can move him into your meeting room. or
He's
you can meet
trying
with
to,
him in
he's
your
trying to
waiting
get back
room.
in here, Your Honor. I spoke with him a while ago.
Oh,
I don't know how he ended back up in my waiting room, but he's ready to go.
I'm pulling him out, Judge.
Thank you. He keeps getting kicked out, so I keep putting him back there because I wasn't sure where he was, and he had no idea either. So
Thanks, Carol.
Your Honor, Mr. Davis is going to log back in right now.
Thank you, sir. Take your hat off for me, please.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry about that.
No worries. These are 24BL00106 A, B, and C. These are City of Belleville versus John Mout. May I have your appearance, please, or state your name for the record, sir?
John Moet.
Moet.
Good morning, Your Honor. Matthew Wayne on behalf of the City of Belleville.
Thank you, Mr. Wayne. Mr. Moet, the way the court staff have you labeled indicate that you're waiving your right to have the assistance of the court-appointed attorney this morning. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, you've had the opportunity to speak to the prosecutor, Mr. Wayne.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Wayne, how are we proceeding?
I believe, Your Honor, that the city has agreed to dismiss all counts against the defendant in exchange for him pleading guilty to one count of allowing an unauthorized driver.
Mr. Mo, was that your understanding, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, raise your right hand for me, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. You may put your hand down.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, after having the opportunity to speak to the prosecutor, is it your understanding and agreement this morning that you'll be tendering a plea of guilty to the added count of allowing an unlawful driver to drive and the original
ma'am.
driving while license suspended, the impeding traffic, and the no proof of insurance will be dismissed?
Yes, ma'am.
And sir, that's how you wish to proceed this morning?
Yes, ma'am.
And sir, you understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning, you will not have a trial of any kind?
Yes, ma'am.
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor?
Yes, ma'am.
And sir, you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am.
You haven't been threatened in any way, promising anything to get you to plead guilty?
No, ma'am.
Are you pleading guilty, sir, because you are in fact guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, is it true that on March 23rd, 2024, in the city of Belleville, you allowed an unlawful driver to drive?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, the court accepts your plea of guilty to the added count and will dismiss the original driving while license suspended and the 2 civil infractions. Was there anything you wanted to say on your own behalf before fines and costs were imposed in this matter?
No, ma'am.
Then, sir, the court will impose the following: a fine of $100. There's cost of $100. There's a $75 mandatory crime victims fee. There's $50 mandatory state costs and $20 fund fee. That's $345. Do you need more than 5 days to pay that amount?
Yes, ma'am.
Then, Mr. Mott, there's a few things. You have some other outstanding matters in the court where you owe a total of $1,486. If you would please, sir, contact the court's collection department. You may come in person and speak to a member of the collection staff. You may call and speak to someone, or you may go onto the court's website. There's a contact us button. If you click on that button, it will drop down and allow you to submit a request for a payment plan. The collections department will be able to put all of the money you owe into a singular payment plan, okay?
Yes, ma'am. I was under the understanding that the courts took my taxes, my state taxes for that.
If they did, sir, it was
It was
not
supposed to be-
applied as of the date the summary sheet was printed out for me.
Supposed to be $910 they took for the court. I can get
If that's
information.
true-
Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, sir, I was just gonna say, if that's true and you owe the court $1,400, even with the application of 900, there would still
Yeah.
be a balance in addition to
Yes,
the
ma'am.
345 assessed today, okay?
Yes, ma'am. I understand that. Yes, ma'am. And I will go
Other
on there.
than that,
All right, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry, sir, there's a little bit of delay in the sound. I was just gonna say, other than that, you're free to go. You have a great day.
You too, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, I discharged my attorney, Mr. Davis, and I hired a new attorney who is in court right now. He just texted me to ask for a new date, if it's okay with you and Mr. Greco.
Mr. Ferrand, here's the issue in the matter. Mr. Davis, although you and he may have agreed that he will no longer represent you, he is still the attorney of record in this file until either the court discharges him or a new attorney files an appearance. The court has not received an appearance from Mr. Zelenak. So for this court's purposes, Mr. Davis is still your attorney.
And Your Honor, I also too did, it doesn't change anything that the court just said, but I did too just get a text from Mr. Zelenak indicating he was in another court. And I did just receive a text from Mr. Davis who indicated he is in person in another court right now and will log on after. I was having not heard from Mr. Zelenak until a few minutes ago. I was thinking with Mr. Davis coming on, that would hasten the issue of Mr. Davis and Mr. Farron's relationship. But perhaps if the court, we could wait, or the court is all done when Mr. Zelenak enters an appearance, that might just solve itself. So I can wait if the court wants to wait, unless we're all done. No.
Just for the record, this is 240270OM. This is City of Romulus versus Hassan Ferrand. This case was scheduled this morning for a pretrial. The attorney of record is Mr. Maurice Davis. The court has received communication from both the prosecutor and the defendant, indicates that Mr. Davis has been discharged. Just so the record's clear, there is no order allowing Mr. Davis to withdraw, and this court has not received an appearance from the alleged new attorney, Mr. Zelenak. Inasmuch as this court's docket ended at 10 o'clock and Mr. Ferran has been here timely and appropriately, the court will adjourn this matter and reset the pretrial for
May 2nd at 9:30.
May 2nd at 9:30. Mr. Ferran, notice of that date will go to your attorney of record. If Mr. Zelenak files an appearance in the matter in the interim, he will be your assigned attorney or your retained attorney going forward. But this court on May 2nd will expect some attorney to be here timely and ready to proceed in your case, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is there anything else, Mr. Greco?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Sir, you're free to go. You have a good day. Notice of that new date and time will be mailed to you at the address you verified with court staff.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Mr. Greco.
Thank you.
Yes.
Our last case was scheduled at 10 o'clock. It's now 10:17 by this court's clock. Anyone who is not here is deemed untimely and will be either set for show cause, or if they're already in show cause status, bench warrant shall issue. Mr. Bitar, was there anything else?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bowditch, anything else?
Nothing, Your Honor. My apologies. I have no excuse for their absence.
Mr. Greco, anything else?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Mr. Wayne, anything else?
Nothing, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Somebody's joining by phone at 10:18. Let's see who this person is. We were so close to a clean getaway. Sir, your name, please.
Oh, mine?
Yes,
Oh, I'm sorry. Brandon Waller.
Brandon, I'm sorry, your last name?
Waller, Waller.
Mr. Waller, your case was scheduled at 9:40. It's now 10:18. Sir, you are untimely. Were you looking to speak to a court-appointed attorney this morning, or were you looking to represent yourself?
Do I talk to the prosecutor again? I'm sorry, ma'am.
Mr. Waller, the first question is, are you looking to speak to a court-appointed attorney this morning, or are you looking to represent yourself?
I represent myself.
Then we will get you moved into a breakout room with the prosecutor, Mr. Greco. If you had a chance to speak to him, you'll come back in this main session, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Yes, thank you for your understanding this. And then there's a changing of the guard and sort of before you police in this capacity. So
I'm
it's been a
sorry to
pleasure.
hear that.
Yeah.
Who, do we know what the new firm is? Okay. It's been my pleasure. I'm sorry to see you go, and I'm sorry that your last day was kind of what it was, but anyway, I hope to cross paths with you again.
I hope so too. No, I'm sure it's all my cousin.
Okay. Mr. Haley, was there something, sir?
I just want to touch base and see, did a Julie Novotnik ever check in for an 8 o'clock show cause pretrial?
No.
I didn't think so. Just wanted to put it on my list to make sure, guys. That's all I had.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You as well.
You never know. It's just like most of the attorneys that come through here show up again some way, some shape, some form, so.
My firm does a lot of groups in a lot of communities, so we're prosecutor's not able to do a lot of defense work because chances are.
It'll be
one
what-
time or another, I,
Yeah,
represent-
you never know.
We got a pleasure. So have a nice afternoon.
Thank you, you too.
Thanks. Take care.
Are you hanging around to see if Mr. Waller changes his mind?
No, I've previously had conversations with Mr. Waller, so our relationship didn't work out.
I'm shocked by that.
So if you don't mind, Judge, I'm going to take off, and I think last time it was here, he ended up talking to Mr. Greco on his own as well. So,
Okay.
all right,
Thank you, Mr. Batar. Have a good day.
Judge Marianne, take care. I'll see you next time.
This is 23RP 06634A, City of Romulus versus Mohammed Al Bahawi. This case was scheduled for show cause arraignment pretrial at 8 a.m. It's now 10:22 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear for a second time in this matter. Bench warrant shall issue 5,000, 10%. Two four RP 00223 A and B. These are City of Romulus versus Kendrick Ball. These cases were scheduled for show cause arraignment pretrial at 8 a.m. It's now 10:22 a.m. by the court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear for a second time in these matters, bench warrant shall issue 5,000, 10%. Two four RP 0041400M. City of Romulus versus Kenneth Livingston. The case was scheduled for show cause arraignment pretrial at 8 a.m. It's now 10:23 a.m. by the court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear for a second time in this matter. Bench warrant shall issue 5,000, 10%. Two four 02710M, City of Romulus versus Brandon Waller. Your names for the record, please.
Brandon Waller.
Yep, and David Greco here on behalf of the City of Romulus, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Waller, you previously indicated that you're waiving your right to have the assistance of the court-appointed attorney this morning. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
You've had the chance to speak to Mr. Greco, the prosecutor?
Yes.
Mr. Greco, how are we proceeding?
We have a resolution, Your Honor, where Mr. Waller is going to plead guilty to disorderly person or disorderly conduct. We're going to dismiss the larceny charge. We are not going to require any restitution, and we are recommending fine only and close out the case. He just has to understand that he has trespassed. He's no longer welcome at the Wyndham Gardens Hotel.
Thank you. Mr. Waller, raise your right hand for me, please, sir. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. You may put your hand down, sir. Sir, you had the chance to speak to Mr. Greco this morning, and it's your understanding and agreement that you'll be pleading guilty as charged to count one disorderly person and count two, the disorderly would be dismissed.
Or the larceny.
Yeah.
Larceny.
I'm sorry, what did I said trespass, Mr. Greco?
No, you said disorderly twice. To each one.
Thank you, Mr. Greco. You're pleading guilty, sir, to being disorderly person, count one, and count two, larceny would be dismissed.
Okay.
And Mr. Waller, you understand that if the court accepts your plea this morning, you will not have a trial of any kind.
Yes, Your Honor.
You will not have the opportunity to present witnesses on your own behalf or see and cross-examine witnesses put forth by the prosecutor.
Okay.
Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
And sir, you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
You haven't been threatened in any way or promised anything to get you to plead guilty?
No.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Waller, is it true that on October 27, 2023, in the city of Romulus, that you did engage in a course of disorderly conduct that was likely to cause a serious inconvenience or annoyance or intentionally
Yes.
failed to obey the directions of a police officer or other public servant engaged in enforcement of the law?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir, the court accepts your plea of guilty to count one, being a disorderly person. Is there anything you wanted to say on your own behalf before fines and costs were imposed in this matter?
Really don't have nothing else to say, really. But I really feel like this whole situation, like this whole like case, was basically like a misunderstanding, because I probably wouldn't have never went the way it did if, like, business was, what it's supposed to be. Because at the end of the day, I'm just gonna say this and leave it at that. At the end of the day, I know whatever the case they put on me or whatever, at the end of the day, I'm the only one that lost, because I still lost $700 that day, and they still got my money and my business and everything. And at the end of the day, I'm the only one that lost, and they're at home smiling, happy. You know what I'm saying? Which is not right, but it is what it is. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Mr. Waller, the court has accepted your plea as to count one, dismiss count two, and will impose the following. There's a fine of $100. There's cost of $100. There's $75 mandatory crime victims fee, $50 mandatory state costs, and $20 fund fee. That's $345. Do you need more than 5 days to pay that amount, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Then I need you to do one of three things, sir. You can go onto the court's website. There's a contact us button. If you click on that button, it will drop down. You can submit a request for a payment plan that way. Or you may call the court, speak to a member of the court's collection staff. They can set a payment plan, or you can come in person, speak to the collection staff and set a payment plan that way, okay?
Okay.
Other than that, Mr. Waller, you're free to go. You have a great afternoon.
All right. Thank you. You too. And you too, Mr. Greco.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Waller.
All right.
Anything else, Mr. Greco?
No, Your Honor, that's a wrap, I think.
Have a good day. I'll see you in a couple weeks.
All right, take care. Thank you.
This is 24RP005010M. This is City of Romulus versus Lauren McDonald. This case was scheduled for show cause arraignment pretrial at 8 a.m. It's now 10:29 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant, having failed to appear for a second time in this matter, bench warrant shall issue 5,010%. Two four RP 00415 A and B. These are City of Romulus versus Jenny Moore. These cases were scheduled for show cause arraignment pretrial at 8 a.m. It's now 10:30 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant, having failed to appear for a second time in these matters, bench warrant shall issue 5,010%. This is 2309250D. This is City of Romulus versus Julie Novotny. This case was scheduled for show cause arraignment pretrial at 8 a.m. It's now 10:31 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear in this matter. Bench warrant shall issue 5,000, 10%. This is 24BL 00050A. This is City of Belleville versus Santrail Pitts. This case was scheduled for show cause arraignment pretrial at 8 a.m. It's now 10:31 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear for a second time in this matter, bench warrant shall issue 5,000, 10%. These are 24RP 00493 A and B. These are City of Romulus versus Jerome Pitfield. These cases were scheduled for show cause arraignment pretrial at 8 a.m. It's now 10:32 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear for a second time in these matters, bench warrant shall issue 5,000, 10%. Two four BL 00025OT, City of Belleville versus Gregory Pugh Jr. This case was scheduled for show cause arraignment pretrial at 8 a.m. It's now 10:33 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear for a second time in this matter. Bench warrant shall issue 5,000, 10%. These are 24BL 00064 A and B. These are City of Belleville versus Darius Wright. These cases were scheduled for arraignment pretrial and pre-hearing at 8:30 a.m. It's now 10:34 a.m. by this court's clock. The A file, which is a misdemeanor, will be set for show cause. The B file, the civil infraction, will be deemed in default. These are 24BL 00065 A, B, and C. These are City of Belleville versus Elisa Cook. These cases were scheduled for arraignment pretrial and pre-hearing at 8:50 a.m. It's now 10:35 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, the A and B file misdemeanors will be set for show cause. The C file civil infraction will be deemed in default. This is 24BL000012. This is City of Belleville versus Chase Atkins. This case was scheduled for arraignment pretrial at 9 a.m. It's now 10:36 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear. This matter will be set for show. Matter will be set for show cause. These are 24BL000083A, B, and C. These are City of Belleville versus Laura Delgado. These cases were scheduled for pre-hearing and arraignment pretrial at 9 a.m. It's now 10:37 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear. The A and C files, which are civil infractions, will be deemed in default. The B file, which is a misdemeanor, will be set for show cause. These are probably better stated. This is 23RP06700. This is City of Romulus versus Adam Baumdrer, Eaumdraher. This case was scheduled for arraignment pretrial at 9:10 a.m. It's now 10:39 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear. This case being in warrant status, the court will leave it the same. These are 23RP06167OM and 230958OM. These are both City of Romulus versus Anthony Crump. These cases were scheduled for pretrial at 9:10 a.m. It's now 10:40 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear. This matter will be set for show cause. This is 19B00636OT. This is City of Belleville versus Malone Mark. This case was scheduled for pretrial at 9:10 a.m. It's now 10:41 a.m. by this court's clock. This case is in warrant status and will stay that way. These are 2 for BL00114 A, B, and C. These are City of Belleville versus Armante Hollis. These cases were scheduled for arraignment, pretrial, and pre-hearing at 9:20 a.m. It's now 10:42 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, the A file, which is a misdemeanor, will be set for show cause. The B and C files, which are civil infractions, will be deemed in default. This is 24RP017080M, City of Romulus versus Jerry Tucker. This case was scheduled for arraignment pretrial at 9:20 a.m. It's now 10:43 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, this matter will be set for show cause. Two zero BL 00241OT, City of Belleville versus Damon Davis. This case was scheduled for pretrial at 9:30 a.m. It's now 10:44 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, this matter will be set for show cause. This is 240305OD. This is City of Romulus versus Anthony Warlicks Jr. This case was scheduled for arraignment pretrial at 9:30 a.m. It's now 10:44 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, this matter will be set for show cause. These are 24RP00500M, 24RP01768A and B. These are all City of Romulus versus Jonathan Wilson. These cases were scheduled for pretrial at 9:30 a.m. It's now 10:45 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, these matters will be set for show cause. This is 23BL00907A. This is City of Belleville versus Norman Grinstead Jr. This case was scheduled for arraignment pretrial at 9:40 a.m. It's now 10:47 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear, this matter will be set for show cause. These are 24RP01315 A, B, and C. These are City of Romulus versus Kayla Cagle. These cases were scheduled for pre-hearing and pre-trial at 9:50 a.m. It's now 10:47 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear as directed by the court, the A file misdemeanor will be set for show cause. The B and C files, which are civil infractions, will be deemed in default. Good morning, how are you?
Great. Got your 11 o'clock waiting party downstairs.
Whenever they're ready, I'm ready.
They're ready, okay, I'm ready.
Yeah.
You want the certificates up here?
What is,
There.
yeah, because I'll come down, I'll do the wedding down there.
I'll leave it right there.
Thanks. They brought their own witnesses, or you coming back up? You're coming back up with them?
They've got plenty of it.
Two,
They got, I think they've got like 6.
They're good. 20RP03881. This is City of Romulus versus Portia Davis. This case was scheduled for arraignment pretrial at 9:50 a.m. It's now 10:49 a.m. by this court's clock. Defendant having failed to appear. This case being in warrant status, it will stay that way. That concludes this court's docket for the morning.